Hello everyone, my name is Steve Hanney, founder and CEO of Aspenify. Within this tutorial you will learn about the Navigator module within the Aspenify platform. The Navigator module offers two primary functions. 1. Launch and manage projects and initiatives. 2. Track progress of initiatives in flight. You can think of the Navigator module where managers, team leads and team members use reusable playbooks to launch and track progress for key initiatives or projects. In many ways, it's where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. Note that there are two prerequisites for this module, including the Conductor tutorial, where you can learn about accounts, workspaces, and community management, and the Designer tutorial, where you can learn about creating, sharing, and publishing playbooks and associated content. These videos can be found through our support page at www.aspenify.com/support. I also recommend regularly checking out our YouTube page. So first, let's take a look at how you can launch initiatives using published playbooks. So first I log in, and you can see here we've got the various modules on the left-hand side of the screen. I've already covered the Conductor and the Designer in separate tutorials, so I'll skip those and move straight to the blue Navigator modules. Clicking on there. So the first thing you'll see is what particular initiatives do you have running or active, and which particular initiatives do you have in configuration mode. In this case I have a new restaurant playbook being configured. The active initiatives are actually running using standard playbooks, and I've already configured and launched them, so we'll pause those for now as we go into the process of creating a new initiative using a standard playbook. So to do that, I just hit the Create New Initiative box right here, and it now gives me an ability to select from a list of published playbooks. In this case, because I'm really demonstrating the restaurant franchise example, we have 4 published playbooks to be able to refer to. The first one is all around employee recruitment and onboarding. The second, event planning and management. The third is cookathon training classes. And the fourth is opening a new restaurant, in this case in San Jose. So what I'm going to do is select the Open a New Restaurant playbook and just review the details. Make sure I've got the right one that I'm expecting to use for this particular initiative. I can also check the details as well, see how many activities it has, see when it was published, what version it is, and so on and so forth. When I'm happy, I can select the playbook and I'm immediately put into this wizard. The wizard has 5 steps: summary, role mapping, activities, timeline, review, and start. So the first thing I'm going to do is just make sure I've got a unique name. So we're going to call the restaurant Pop-Ins San Jose. I'm not going to change the picture at this point, but if I wanted to, I can just click on this green pencil and it will give me the option to change the picture. I can also change the description. This is a rich text field, so I can indent, I can bold, I can put bullets on it, I can do whatever I need to do for that text to make a very appropriate description. So for example here I can just select the text and hit bold, and it's bold. If I want to change the color, I can do that as well just by clicking the color, and it will change the color of the text. So I'm just going to change that back to black. Okay. The next thing I do is determine who can see this initiative and who can collaborate on this initiative. So I typically select team level because I want to make sure the initiative is authorized for a specific group of people. And right here I can select the team that is available for me to use as part of the initiative configuration. I have previously set up this team called Acme Restaurant Team. Hit OK or Next. So once I've done that, it moves me to the next step in the setup wizard. Now I have the list of roles that were defined within the playbook. Okay, so once you have the roles and you're in this role mapping exercise, the next step is to pick the team that you want to assign these roles to. So as we indicated earlier, we wanted to assign it to Acme Restaurant Team. Go through the auto assign process, assign roles to a team, select Acme Restaurant, hit submit, and now you'll see all of the roles are now identified and assigned under this particular team. And it's already pre-populated it with the name of the manager of that team. So in this particular case it's myself, but now I can start reassigning those roles. And I just click on this pull down menu and I can very quickly start assigning each of these roles to the appropriate team members so that we make sure that that work that is assigned to them is defined based on the role correctly. So in this case I only have about 6 members of the team, so the list is fairly short. You can see I've got lots and lots of roles. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit for the purpose of demonstration, and we'll make Bill the chef. We'll have Jack Steele as the support staff. Erica can be the front of house agency, and so on and so forth. We'll make Mike the bar manager. I'll be the restaurant manager, and so on and so forth. So this now allows you to kind of reassign the work. Once you've done this, you can then hit next and move to the next step in the wizard. This particular step allows you to really review the various activities that were pulled down from the playbook. So this is all pre-populated from the playbook when it was designed originally. So I can go down here and just validate all of the activities that are correct. If I need to make an adjustment of time, I can do that. Maybe I think that section is going to take a little longer. I can make that happen. If there are any updates to that, I can do it by moving and drag and dropping a particular activity. I can click right mouse button and remove an element if I wanted to and pull it out of the various playbook items. For the most part, most people are going to take a standard playbook and just execute it. But we do want to make sure that it's fully editable so people can make changes at the local level if they really need to. If you double click on these, you can also pull out the various metadata information as well, including the name, the description. You can edit user assignments if you want to. You can also edit dependencies, any inputs and outputs, and reference content as well. So in this particular case, I'm just going to pull down a document just for illustration purposes and just show you how easy it is. Once the content is loaded as part of the playbook, you have the ability to then just pull that into the appropriate activity, and now it's available anytime you hit this activity and somebody starts working on it. So that's a very nice feature for our application, and we make sure that it's very easy to connect content to activities and community members in a very seamless approach. So that's really it as far as the activity setup. Now I hit next again, and I'm in the final stage of just really making sure the calendar is correct. So in this case, it's starting on November the 11th. We have maybe 10 contingency days. It's a normal work week. I can make adjustments here as well, and it will adjust the calendar accordingly. And the total duration of this is about 130 days, which is a typical duration for setting up a restaurant. If I want to, I can click on the advanced timeline view, and the system will pre-populate a work schedule. So this is a pretty nice feature if you want to just maybe use it as a way to really visualize the dates and make sure everything is sequenced correctly. You can do that through this advanced timeline view. And at this point, no manual effort has been involved. It's all driven out of the playbook, and it's all automated to create the schedule, manage your activities, map your roles, and everything's pretty much good to go. So now I hit next, and we're ready to kick off the initiative. There are no errors. If there were, it would list them right here. But it looks like everything's in good tip-top condition. We're good to go, and we can hit kick-off initiative. A pop-up is then displayed saying the initiative is now kicked off. Do you want to go back and do another initiative, or do you want to start viewing the progress of the initiative that you just started? So I'm just going to click View Progress here, and we're going to move to the next section of the Navigator, which is really the next view called the progress view for the various initiatives that you have running. So in the progress view, you can almost think of this like a Kanban view. If you're familiar with a Kanban, it really has the idea where you've got a list of work on the left. You start the work, you track the progress. When you've completed the work, it moves over to the complete column. So at a very simple level, this really is a mechanism for you to track the various activities as a team and view the progress of those various activities as a team. So if you're a very close-knit team that wants to be able to collaborate together on working on key initiatives and make sure that you're able to track activities together, this is a great tool to allow you to be able to do that. Every time I make an update to this progress bar, the rest of the team is available to see that real time. If multiple of you are editing this at the same time, you'll be able to see their updates as well. So it's a very nice way to collaborate on working through fairly sophisticated pieces of work. The other point is, because I'm a manager and I'm actually the workspace owner here, I see all of these activities and I'm able to track how the overall team is doing. But let's say Mike is logging in as an individual, he will just see the work that he's responsible for. Likewise with Erica, likewise with Bill, and so on. So the whole objective here is to make sure that you only see what you need to, and you only have to update what you need to. And that really makes the tool very nice, because it can remove the clutter from your work and make sure you're focused on just the key activities that you need to be focused on. Now, very similar to the other parts of the application, if you click on it and you double click, you get access to the various information sources on a per activity basis. So this research local area activity now has these various attributes, everything from these user assignments to any dependencies. In this case, it has a dependency here. Any inputs, outputs, references, I don't see any yet, but also you have the ability to add notes as well. So all the notes are added based on the person that entered them, and there's a full history and a log of all the notes that are established on a per activity basis. So that's a nice feature. To change the status of one of these activities that is in progress, you have the ability to hit the issue button right here and change the status of the activity if there's a problem, right? So let's say, for example, there is a problem and you need some help, right? So this will log to the team members that this activity has an issue automatically. And you can see here there's an activity log that is also displayable. The status of the activity moves to the fourth column, and if I'm actually back at the dashboard in the conductor, I will now see that there's one issue relating to this particular initiative. So the whole objective there is to make sure that the team is fully aware of what's going on and are able to respond as efficiently and as rapidly as possible. Now, of course, if the issue is resolved, I can turn it into its normal state. So all good now, and I can hit resolve. That jumps back to the in progress state. So that's a nice feature just to make sure that the team is able to log issues very, very quickly and take action. So the next part that we do within the system is every single activity is tracked based on time and a calendar. So you can see here right now we're day 1 of 136 days, and there's a start date as well as an end date. So as the activities are progressed, the progress bar will gradually move from left to right. And you can see here I'm just manually going through that process right now. In addition to tracking the progress bar, we also track the schedule against the actual. So for example, if this particular activity is running behind, the system will automatically pop it into the delayed column. So it will emphasize any items that are actually being delayed and are outside of the schedule window. So that's another nice feature, just to make sure the team is visually aware of if anything is being delayed. It may not be deliberately delayed, it just may be accidentally delayed, and somebody can address it, get it back on track, and complete that work quickly. So that's a nice feature to make sure that everybody is aware of the timing. So you'll also notice every activity has a start date of when it was activated and then an expected completion date. So you can always see if the activity is progressing in the right timing. So if I log in tomorrow, I will see that this particular activity will jump into the delayed bucket because it's expected to be completed within the first day. So the last part on this screen is really the filters. You can see at the top here we've got my progress, accountable, responsible, and so on and so forth. My progress basically means I just want to see those items that I'm responsible for. I can also unselect that and just view those that I'm consulted on, right? These aren't necessarily items that I have full responsibility or accountability for, but they're the ones that I should be participating in and diving in with any feedback. Equally, I can show those that I'm informed with, and then ultimately the ones that I'm fully responsible for or accountable for. So thankfully, I'm not accountable for any, but I am responsible for 10, and these are the ones that I have some responsibility around. The accountable person is usually the one that's displayed with the color right here. So if you're ever wondering about the colors, it's typically the person who's accountable will have that color, or the role, let's say, that's accountable will have that color. So that's the progress view. I'm jumping now to the sequence view. If you're familiar with the designer module, this will be very familiar with you. And now you can see the sequence from the designer, from the playbook, now with detailed activities progressing. So it's a very nice view to see if you're actually on track and you're moving in the right sequence. As you can see here, I may be a little bit ahead of schedule in writing the business plan, but I have to also complete the concept phase. So I can just click on those and start tracking the progress, just like I would in the previous view. So that's kind of a neat feature. And then the next view is all around teams. So what this does is it shows the list of activities per role. So in this case, the owner is Erica. She has a lot of activities to be completed. Owner 2 is Mike, and Mike has a lot of activities to complete, so on and so forth. So this is a nice way to view, who's assigned what from a team perspective, and how to make sure that team member is progressing the work accordingly. The last view is the timeline, and this is just a single page view showing the schedule of each of these activities and how they're progressing. The last piece is very quick, and this is really just a summary of the view for a general user who's logging into the system and just wants to be able to look at the work that they're progressing. If you think about the previous part is all of, really for managers and workspace owners, kick off a project, launch it, and then track it ongoing. You can think of the progress view as being the dashboard for an end user who's really part of a team, just tracking the work that they're working on. And in here, first of all, you can see this is an aggregate view for all the initiatives they have. You can see all of these items are actually consolidated. Even though that the member is part of 4 initiatives, they get to see all of that on one screen. If they want to view a specific initiative, they just pick the appropriate one, and now they get a summary for that single initiative. In this case, it's the Poppins San Jose. Same as before, if you want to select the responsible ones or the consulted ones, you can do that. You can activate the individual tiles. You can update your progress if you have ownership of those activities, and so on. There is a filter over on the right-hand side of the page. You can click on it to sub-filter any active or on hold items. And then you can also search based on a particular user as well. This is quite a nice feature if you want to find out what a certain team member is responsible for and whether or not they're tracking the work. So that is about it. If you're interested in getting some additional help on these items, you can click down here at the help question mark, find the user guides that are available, or even access the tutorials that dive into this in a little bit more detail. And of course, you can jump into the user forums, the support, or potentially report an issue if you find one. Well, that just about wraps up the Navigator tutorial. During the video, we demonstrated how you can select published playbooks, use them to launch new initiatives using the wizard, and then track overall progress. In addition, we showed how individual team members within those initiatives can track their own work and update their progress, status, and add any additional notes they may have. Feel free to regularly check our website support page at www.aspenify.com/support for additional documentation, release notes, and tutorials. You can also access our community forums there. On behalf of Aspenify, I would like to thank you for the time you have provided us watching the video. We appreciate your feedback and support, always. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for further update videos going forwards. Have a wonderful day.